Hello, and welcome to a live episode of Adventures in Movies. My name is Nathaniel Muir, and I am the movie editor at AIPT. Joining me on this very special edition are the excellent hosts that join me on all the regular editions.
I am Danny.
And I am Blake.
Oh, I should have done that. Son of a bitch. Damn it.
So, how are you guys? What happened?
Doing well.
Mad. I am mad now.
No, don't be mad, Danny.
Okay, you're right.
We're here for a joyous occasion.
That's very true. You're very true. That's very true. This is a joyous occasion.
Yeah. And no, I'm doing great. Let's talk about the weather real quick. It's not 100 and go fuck yourself anymore. So I'm feeling better about life.
You know, I was looking at the so today everyone was telling me like, oh, it's gonna be stormy, it's gonna be stormy. So I'm looking at the phone, I'm like, it's gonna be sunny all day, like low in the mid 70s, high in the low 90s, like 92, 93. I was like, it's gonna be great. And the weather, it's cloudy, it was raining really hard. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I keep checking my phone, I'm like, oh, it's set on El Paso.
Yep. It's not been bad. It's
been really nice. It's been a nice couple of days. It's been really fresh in the mornings, at nights. You know, go outside.
That's been great.
Enjoy yourself. You know, a cigarette here and there.
Never hurt nobody.
It hasn't been that yeah, what harm has cigarettes caused anybody? And what harm is going outside right now done, for especially in large groups? Yeah. Absolutely, we should all be doing.
But when you live in the middle of nowhere, it's great.
No, this is true. And you know what? If it weren't for the campus, I would be in the middle of nowhere. There's like nothing going on here. So this is our first special edition since how long has it been? We were doing them on a regular basis before.
Yeah, we were doing it every month, and then life happened, and then we stopped, and then I think we did it. Me and Blake were for what was the last Star Wars? The last Star Wars movie, the one that we all loved and hated at the same time.
The Walk of Skywalker.
The Walk of Skywalker. The Walk of Shame.
The Rise of Palpatine.
The Rise of Palpatine.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, and before the show, I thought we saw Hobbs and Shaw earlier this year. I'm all discombobulated.
I did see Hobbs and Shaw like 2 or 3 weeks ago on HBO. I kind of watched bits and pieces of it. I got to see the part where The Rock was like hanging by the helicopter, kind of pulling it from the sky, which is still awesome.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
We'll
I think the last one we did together might have been It Chapter 2.
That's hard to believe because that's like a year ago.
It was around the same time, right?
Right?
It was. I think it was after. It was September. Yeah,
it was September.
Hobbs and Shaw was August. So Hobbs and Shaw might have. That's maybe why you were thinking because we did that one. Because when we did it, Vicky joined us, but when it was just the three of us, I think it was Hobbs and Shaw.
I think you're right. Crazy.
Wow.
Well, 3 men talking about 2 great men. I mean, can't go wrong with that.
There you go. It was an orgy of action and excitement.
It's also like the last time that we had like a fun time with a movie, you know?
That's
we hated it, and the conversation that we had for Rise of Shamewalker was not great.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, no, you did bestow a title upon Blake. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we did have that, my lord,
my lady.
So. For those of you who have never listened to or seen one of our special editions, just to give you a heads up right now, so we're going to talk Bill and Ted, but spoiler heavy. Like there's the gloves are off. We're going to get into it. So again, spoiler warning for Bill and Ted Face the Music. We're going to get into spoilers. We are going to talk about how they do die. So just a heads up, if you haven't seen Bill and Ted, we are going to get into that. And just as a reminder, I'm going to put the spoiler warning up. Not even the first time. So I put the spoiler warning up after I said the spoiler.
I like that.
So, well, I mean, if you haven't seen Bogus Journey, then what are you doing here at all? Unless you want to see 3 beautiful men talking about 2 other beautiful men.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
Bogus Journey.
This is true. If them dying is like whatever, and then also with Endgame, and any comic, any television show. People, or if you're a Star Trek fan, a Star Wars fan, we were just talking Star Wars. People die and come back all the time. So
That's comic books, baby.
It's life, not real life, because we're seeing millions of people die and not coming back.
Yikes.
And it got dark.
Let's get into something not so dark. Bill and Ted. So, when was the last time before Face the Music you guys saw a Bill and Ted movie?
What, like 6 months ago? I think maybe.
Really?
It was like less than a year, I think, or within a year, because we saw me and my girlfriend. We saw Excellence Adventure, and I think we skipped Bogus Journey because Bogus Journey is not that great.
Oh man!
Well, easy, bro.
I don't like it.
It's different. It's different. It goes in a different direction.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? And I haven't seen it since I was maybe a kid, so I think I still have that really bad taste. So,
gotcha.
But
I can see that though. I totally can see that because before we get to that, when's the last time you watched a Bill and Ted movie, Blake?
I think it's probably been about 15 years. I think I watched them in college with some friends and like back-to-back kind of action. Yeah. And, but fuzzy memories. But
well,
I love Bill and Ted. I've always loved Bill and Ted.
I actually, before I saw Face the Music, on Friday I watched Excellent Adventure. On Saturday I watched Bogus Journey. And then on Sunday, I watched Face the Music. So I didn't want to be lost. I made sure to get caught up with the
Wait, you completely forgot about the animated series that was in between all this.
And I didn't play the NES game, and I didn't watch the film sitcom either. I didn't watch any of the sitcom, so I totally missed out on it. The last time I watched it, though, before this week, it's been, I don't know if it's been 15 years, but it's been quite a number of years since I had seen it. So I guess the next question would be, how excited were you guys to see this third installment? Sequels always are risky. Sequels made decades later are even more risky. So how much were you looking forward to seeing Face the Music?
Oh, very excited. Yeah, very pumped up. The first one, I know this thing's been in the works for a long time. I know we've talked about this like years ago, like if they were going to do it. And I was very excited, especially in the way stuff is. Like I really was wanting some like lighthearted, kind of like fun, check your brain at the door kind of stuff. And that's always what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was already excited to see them. Just when you first hear about them, I know Alex Winter, Bill, he had written a script for it years and years and years ago, and it's just been kind of stuck, and it finally came about. And I was cautiously optimistic to see it. And then, like Blake touched on, as things have gotten kind of bleaker in the real world, you want more escapism. And then after I watched the first two and I saw how dumb they were, and I mean that in the most complimentary sense. They're very fun, very silly, incredibly lighthearted. My only worry was that the third one might not be as lighthearted as the first two, and thankfully it's just as dumb and just as silly, and it allowed me to just sit there for an hour and a half and just laugh at the stupidest shit. And I was excited. I was looking forward to see it, so I'm glad that it paid off in that way. So Bill and Ted in this one, like in the first one, all the historical dudes, like, I guess we should get into the plot a little bit. The first one was about them having to pass a history test because they were going to write a song that brought the world together. Yeah. In the second one, there was an actual villain who was going to pretty much kill them. He sends back an evil Bill and Ted robots to prevent them from writing the song. The first one has, I personally thought Napoleon was amazing in the first one. Even
when he eats all the ice cream.
Yeah.
It's so great. When he's bowling and just man. So funny. And then Death, of course, is like really funny in the second one, so popular that he comes back in the third one. So in the third one, we do get more historical dudes. What did you guys think of them?
I liked it. I liked that they did a lot of the two movies. Like they brought the best of the both worlds and meshed it. Now, I didn't expect that we would see that many more. I think, I guess historical characters, historical characters, personalities, whatever.
Yeah.
Dudes, historical dudes. That's what they
historical dudes. Yeah,
historical dudes.
What
about
great.
you, Blake? What do you think? Socrates is so good.
Well, real quick, I would say I was slightly disappointed by the historical dudes for the band that they are building. I don't know. There's
we'll get into that.
Yeah, there were some deep cuts.
So, I think the first one, it's more of a focus on time travel. The second one's more about their journey to hell. The first one has more of a focus on time travel. I think the first one, like, I don't know if you can beat that because Napoleon's great. Sigmund Freud calling himself Ziggy Socrates, Joan of Arc. I mean, it's an awesome collection of characters that are incredibly funny. They all have a moment to shine. In this one, they all have a moment to shine too. Like Jimi Hendrix does this thing. Louis Armstrong is really funny. The drummer who was just some random prehistoric person, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that one.
I wasn't a big fan. There was nothing wrong with him. I'll say that right off the. Is that there was anything wrong with him?
No, there's nothing wrong with him. But I feel like because for what the movie's for, it's the music. I feel they did it right. Yes, I feel like the prehistoric drummer was a little bit much, but I feel like how it was rolling. I mean, if you're gonna get again spoilers, right? Mozart and like like Louis Armstrong, and you get like Jimi Hendrix. Like these are like kind of like big names that did change musical history. But yes, there's other people that do completely different. But I feel for the two,
you read my mind, Danny. Who would you have picked for the band?
I feel for like the two female leads, like that makes sense for them. Like that's character-driven choices, I think. Okay, so let's get into the band. So Jimi Hendrix, obviously a guitar legend. Louis Armstrong, a jazz legend. Mozart. I mean, I think from the second you turn 4, like it just immediately Mozart just magically. We all know Mozart. Mm-hmm. Not my baby, though, but yeah.
I would have gone with the bands. Like we just saw a documentary on Chuck Berry. I mean, I think I would have gone Chuck Berry instead of Jimi Hendrix. We were just talking about Prince before this started. I would have gone with Prince. Talking like age, because the girls, their daughters were such musical
like aficionados,
nerds.
Aficionados, that's the word. They were big time aficionados. I would have thought Miles Davis would have been a better pick than Louis Armstrong, to be honest with you. The drummer, like I get it's supposed to be a joke, kind of. I probably would have gone with like Keith Moon or someone.
Exactly. You need Keith Moon. You need Bonham. It needs to be somebody more recognizable. Phil Collins. Yeah. Just get actual Phil Collins to come do it.
And I know it's supposed, and like for the rapper, like okay, so I don't know. I know the name Kid Cudi. I don't know. Maybe he's like more family friendly, and the movie's family friendly. Like I would think they would go like Biggie Smalls, or maybe the Money Hose and Clothes thing was like too much for it. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe Kid Cudi is like I would have gone in a different direction with some of that, but this is all personal taste.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is. That's why I'm saying that this was all like character-driven choices, more than like what we would choose. I mean, this is where we start like nitpicking at the things, and
that's our job, Danny. That's why we have this show.
and I think that's why, like, because I had the thing is like where we're talking about how dumb this movie was. Like my mom completely checked out. She's like, because we were watching another movie before this, and she's like, "What the fuck is this? This is so terrible." And my dad's like, "This is what the movies have been like throughout the whole time. This hasn't changed. Yeah. The voice is there, and which is great. You don't have the same kind of voice in all the trilogies. They all change." But yeah, she checked out, and I was like, "Yeah, this movie's dumb. Like the character choices make sense for these like dim-witted characters. Even like the ones that are in the future, like it's just character driven, what they want to do, and it's smart. I guess I've never really thought about that for these movies being so stupid that these characters have a life and will continue with this chosen path that they were given. And I feel like with the female leads, the daughters, they do that. They're just trying to help out.
Let's get into the daughters. And I'm sorry you don't remember little Bill's name, but I know it's Samara Weaving.
Yeah, it's Thea and Billy. So Samara Weaving, which was in Ready or Not. And
yeah, she's really good. But she's really good. Like, I mean, in general, she's a good actress. So what did you guys think of the two daughters?
They were fun. I thought the Ted daughter, I think so. She's basically doing a 1-to-1 impression, like impersonation.
I thought it was awesome.
Bill of Ted from previous movies, and yes, it is awesome. No, there are definitely times where you're like, wow, these scenes feel more like original Bill and Ted than the scenes with Bill and Ted.
I thought that Samara Weaving, because she is so good, Ready or Not is like, she is so good that I was like, okay, she's gonna like steal the show. But I thought the Ted daughter was funny. I thought she was great. She was so 1988 Keanu Reeves.
She even had like the way like he stood, like
the pose. She was it was so good. Like I was I thought they did a great job, and
they're dressed like idiots.
Everything about them, the way they talk, and I was a little worried again. Like, and it's a small worry, but I thought they would like go too much into it, and it would be too over the top, and it would get really annoying. I thought it was the perfect mix. Honestly, I wish they had been in it a little bit more.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be kind of a switch. I thought we were going to be kind of baited by it being a Bill and Ted movie, and then once they got you in, it flips around, and then it's going to be them through the entire movie. And it's more like a 60-40 split, or 70-30.
Yeah, I would say it's like 70-30.
70-30.
Which, when they made the announcement, and it's just how toxic things are nowadays, everyone was like, "Oh my God, female leads and Bill and Ted have caved." If that did happen, I don't think it would have mattered. But that wasn't even the case. This was it was marketed as a Bill and Ted movie. The title is Bill and Ted Face the Music. It absolutely is a Bill and Ted movie.
Yeah.
That being said, would you like to see the daughter, if they continue this franchise? Do you think that they made a strong enough showing to make a fourth and possibly fifth movie? And if they did, if it is a strong enough showing, would you want them to?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Instead of being at like now 70%, Keanu, Bill, Alex Winter, it's gonna be the two Samara Weaving and Bridget. They would be now in the face of it. It'll be weird, but it'll be Billy and Thea.
For us, it might be a little bit weird because we grew up on the other two. Yeah. But for the newer audience, it would just kind of.
And I think they teamed up well with Kristen Schaal. I thought that was a cool dynamic between the three of them. Even
I thought that was great, which leads to my next question. What did you think of Rufus's? Now, George Carlin, absolute comedic stand-up comedy legend, if not the greatest ever, easily in the top 3. I'm pretty sure it's by choice, but he never really in Hollywood just literally wasn't his thing. Like. The roles he has are great. Like he's really funny in Dogma. I think Rufus is his most iconic role. So what did you think of Miss Shaw's act as his daughter? I thought she did great. I thought she was perfect.
It was great. It's again carrying that same voice of the vision of what Rufus had. I feel like it did really well. Like this is what my dad would want every time she would say that, and she carried that torch. Which was, you see that with Rufus doing that in Excellent Adventure. It's just carrying that torch with Kristen Schaal. I thought it was just perfect, and I guess I just generally like her. I think she's funny.
Oh, I love Kristen Schaal.
So I feel like she filled like the role just perfectly. I think.
Well, I agree, and it's not because she does a Rufus impersonation or anything. She does her totally her own thing, and if that had been the case, it would have felt like, okay, obviously they would have done that. So glad they didn't, because it made everything feel better.
It did because you have Bill and Ted's daughters basically being Bill and Ted. Like it's their version of it, but they were obviously Bill and Ted. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think her name was Kelly, right? Rufus's daughter.
Yes.
That she's her own character. Like Blake said, she is not Rufus Jr. Like her own character. The interactions with the mom are hilarious. Like Rufus was calm, collected, very cool. She's like, so she's kind of barely hanging on there. A lot of the movie, she's upset. She's kind of like, see, I told you, type of person. Like, I thought she was great.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it. I was gonna say I didn't know she was in it. So when she first came out,
me neither. Yeah,
that was a great surprise.
That was a very pleasant surprise.
No, I loved her reaction when they get to hell. She's like, "Okay, great. Now Bill and Ted are here." Did that whole plan work? Like, she kind of just rolls with it the whole time. She's super, super enjoyable.
Well, let's get into Dennis. So in part 2, we got Death. So in this one, when they first showed Dennis is a robot from the future, who he looks like a badass, like something out of a sci-fi horror movie when they first show him. And we were watching, and I was like, wow, this is actually a scary character because Death looks silly in Bogus Journey. Like, he wasn't scary at all. And then the first time he kills Bill or Ted's dad, he kind of looks around to see if and I'm thinking like, wow, that was a strange reaction. And then he kills the whole group of them. Then you start to see like, oh, he's an insecure robot. What did you guys think of? I forgot his last name, but I know it was Dennis because he kept saying Dennis over and over.
It's Dennis Caleb McCoy. I love the actor. He's in Barry. He's the albino dude, and I think he's albino. I don't remember, but he's the bald dude, and I just love that character a lot. And just made me, when I realized who it was, I was like, oh man! And the insecurities just kind of pile on with Dennis. Yeah, I would like this if he's in the fourth one.
I loved his introduction. As at first, I completely took me off guard. I was like, wow, that is kind of like a scary hardcore thing. And then as it's revealed how incompetent he kind of is, it just totally added to the stupidity of everything going on. And one of the other scenes I loved is when they're running through hell, and there's like 2 demons. They're like, did a robot just run by? And they're like, yeah, I guess robots are in. And so they're kind of acknowledging like how stupid everything is. And he was a really kind of enjoyable, and like they didn't overdo him either. They gave you just enough of his brand of comedy. I liked it.
I thought it was really good, especially towards the end where he's just hounding Death. Like, what can I do? He's like, I can dance really good. And Death is like, oh, go dance over there. Go practice over there.
He gets some shit about stealing his look too. That shit was funny.
Yeah, that was a really good character. I think they could have done a little bit more with him, but I agree, you can easily go too far with it. And what I liked about it also is I hate when movies break the fourth wall too much and it gets a little too like, oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Do you get it? Type of thing. Mm-hmm. Where in this case, like when the 2 demons in hell are talking, it's enough to let you know, like, okay, like we recognize that this kind of doesn't make any sense. That's it.
Go with
it. They just leave it at that. I think he's a really cool character, and I think he would be cool to have in future editions.
I agree.
And John Ray has a comment.
There you go. Yeah, NoHo Hank. Thank you.
He has alopecia. That means he doesn't have a hair on his body.
Not one. I was going to say strand.
Not one strand hair.
Not one. So this movie was actually very character driven. Actually, I guess they all are character driven. So the second one gave us a really clear villain. We got I forgot the villain's name, and then we got the evil Bill and Ted, like the robots. Mm-hmm. So in this one, we got future Bill and Ted. What did you think of future Bill and Ted?
I love how idiotic they are, like how stupid they could be just to save, a marriage. They would go bounds and lengths to like destroy their past to try to save the future. I think and it just got more ridiculous every single time that we see them. 5, 10, and 15. I think that's how we see them. I think it's great. By the time that we get them in prison, I was like, yeah, let's sign me up on this shit.
It was the perfect way to have Bill and Ted make fun of themselves through the entire movie, which let's face it, in a modern day Bill and Ted movie, you have to have them making fun of themselves, and they have these different iterations on themselves, and it was really, really good. I loved Geezer Bill and Ted in
they were at Dave Grohl's house.
Yes. Yeah. No, the ones in the old folks home.
Geezers. Yeah, I was thinking
Geezers.
Yeah, yes.
Not Weezer.
Soundtrack, but whatever.
I liked. I don't know if this is a weird thing to say, but I think the future Bill and Ted, they added a heart to the story that isn't always there, because there's so much goofy fun. It's really just about two dudes who are just having an excellent adventure or a bogus journey. Like in this one, they're actually like Danny said, they're trying to save a marriage. Like they have a clear motivation. They don't have that kind. The first one is to pass a report.
Yeah.
And the second one is to, write the song, to make sure that the song, actually it's been written. They just want to make sure it stays in place. They're going to do a battle of the bands, actually. Like this one, they want to save a marriage. Like the princesses, they didn't have that much time in the first one. They really didn't have that much time in the second one. And then in the third one, they didn't have a lot of time either, but they're very important.
Yeah, they're now like they have their set pieces, and I did enjoy that. I mean,
I think am I not mistaken to believe that future wives are the ones who started the whole thing by going back in the first place?
Yes.
To get them to fix the marriage. It's like, if it weren't for them.
Well, I guess we can kind of get into that. So I've said, half jokingly, but I do mean it, that as time travel movies go, I don't think anyone handles it better than the Bill and Ted movies. And the reason being, and you can really see it in the first one, is the thing with time travel is because it's all theoretical. Like it invites you to look for plot holes. Like when Endgame came out, within 10 minutes, everyone was like, oh, look, there was these plot holes. It immediately happens when time travel is important. Bill and Ted doesn't mess around with that. Like they have one thing in the first part where they hide a tape recorder to throw their voice to trick their dad. That's it. They travel through time, but there's no way for plot holes to develop because they don't have the whole don't touch anything or don't talk. There's no rules. So in this one, there's a whole lot more time traveling. How do you think they handled it?
I think they did the same thing what they did in Excellent Adventure. I feel like they're trying to remember, it was that whole 6 shoot when it's English Bill and Ted were at Dave Grohl's home, and they're like, oh, I forgot. I was hoping he wasn't going to remember it this time.
English Ted was the best, dude.
That's when you said geezer, I was thinking of that old geezer.
it was so great, and to see the gut on Keanu it's so perfect.
Yeah.
It's cool to see whenever an actor is willing to put themselves out there like that and to be that self-deprecating. Like Keanu was a hunk back in he was the pinup guy. And now he's older. I mean, he's still
a hunk, bro.
Yeah, he's still great. But I mean, he's willing to let the love handle show.
Yeah.
I like that he was willing to do that, and I like that he was willing to kind of. Obviously, we all age, but actors try to hide it as much as possible. But he was just out there. He
just went there, and it was great. And that's I again, both actors did a really good job of being themselves. I guess older selves as much because obviously Keanu Reeves became a huge badass with John Wick, and seeing him being this Dutz, it's just great. It's weird to say that's a range of acting, but it's just
and notably less of a dunce in this one. Ted was kind of more of the intellectual.
He was mature.
Yeah.
He was mature. Yeah. He was willing to sell his guitar, which since you haven't seen it in a while, it's actually a throwback to the second one. Because his dad is okay, you got to get serious. You have to sell the guitar, and immediately Ted's like, no, that ain't happening. And Bill's like, oh no, your dad's crazier than I even thought he was. So now in the third one, it's been 20 years later. Like he's, scoping out, like he's fishing for prices and stuff. So
ready to sell the Les Paul. Damn.
Yeah, there was character development there. So this silly movie. So
I'm telling you, it's so weird that we're talking about this specific movie with character development, character-driven choices, because I don't think ever in my entire life I would say this movie has this, these two specific things that you need. Because like Hobbs and Shaw, we just talked about that, like off the camera, and it's that just movie, like it's just explosion after explosion, and we're just moving scenery every single time. And yeah, you have fun, but I feel like we had fun with this movie, and all the little things that we picked up from it. I feel it's so stupid that we got so much
out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there was a little bit of a difference in this one. So the first one's about a history report. The second one's a battle of the bands, but it is to make sure that they are able to write their song. But the third one there's a lot of like there's a journey, a self journey in it. Like they kind of have to worry, like, did we really write this? Like, what's taking us so long? But there also is the added stakes of if the song doesn't get done, everything is destroyed. Yeah. Life as we know it is gone. So we've talked about how silly they are, like they're lighthearted. What did you think of them adding such the highest stakes possible to a Bill and Ted movie?
Oh, I think you had to. I think you had to bring it to the penultimate, right? The destruction of the entire universe. And John Ray is right. I do an outstanding Jonathan Harker impression. It's, my dearest Mina, I write to you from Budapest. But anyway, yeah, no, I love the high
stakes. You derailed us there. High stakes.
Well, I mean, that was high stakes as it gets right there. I love it.
I thought it was really, and you're right. I guess. It's only, well, they could have gone along with like whatever stakes, but I think they had to escalate it a little bit. They still escalated as much as they possibly could, but it never really, it was end of the world. Everyone's life hung in the balance, but there was never really this doom and gloom hanging over it. Even at the end when there's all the lightning and the monuments are appearing everywhere and figures from parts of time are showing up in the middle of the San Dimas freeway. Like it never lost.
Saturn shows up. Yeah, no, it's cool.
Saturn.
Cool. I love that. Saturn. All right, let's get space in here. Let's get
some space in here. Who cares? No, I loved it. It's kind of like what made Ghostbusters fun, right? It's that kind of like, we don't care. We're just making our own rules. We're just doing it. Yeah, there's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like, deal with it. Like, I like it when you just throw all the care for any explanation away. Just give me fun stuff. It was fun. Yeah. This movie was meant to be fun, and it had such a good message overall.
It does. Be excellent to each other. That has been the message from the very first one to this one, and it rings true, and it means so much more in 2020. We absolutely should all be excellent to each other, like absolutely. Yeah. Blake just did a great Jonathan Harker impression. Danny mentioned that Keanu Reeves has come a long way since the first Bill and Ted movie. Was he still? Could you still accept him in the role, even though he had matured? Could you still accept him in the role as Ted after everything he's been through?
Yes, I just want facial hair.
Let me put it. No, but let me put it this way. He's always been Ted. Every other role has been fighting off Ted. No,
that's true.
He was great.
He was, and you're right. That's true because it always, like his whole career, he'll always be like the dude.
Point Break, and so like that's it.
That's true. And I thought he did a great job. Like he's always seemed like a genuinely nice guy to me, and I always hear stories about what a genuinely nice guy. And just for him, because and Alex Winter too. And Alex Winter is a really good director. He's done a lot of cool stuff. But Keanu Reeves didn't have to do this movie. He's fine. Yeah, I mean, he has another franchise in John Wick, and he's going to be in Cyberpunk.
So also, another little thing called The Matrix that paid him pretty well,
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a Matrix movie. I mean, he's set. So for him to go back and do this, I think speaks a lot to him because there's actors who are like, that's I had to do something. I had to make money. I was a struggling actor, and he didn't care. He went back and did it. So this movie, and there's time travel and stuff, but I wouldn't say special effects are the selling point to it. But as you guys are watching it, I'm assuming we all watched it at home. Did you guys ever think like, man, I wish I was watching this in a theater?
Never. Not one time. That was not a movie that felt like I needed to be in the theater.
Actually, Kitty started crying towards the end of the movie, and I was like, I am so glad that this did not happen in theaters, because I was like, this is just, it's already towards the end, and she's just not having it, and she's like crying at the top of her lungs, and I was like, you know what? Let me pause this movie. I'll get back to it, and I feel that was such a fucking plus that that it happened at home and all that stuff. Like, I don't think, as we talked about it, like there's things that we wanted to watch in theaters. I don't think.
Did you hear that, Kitty? Your father's ashamed of you.
I want you to be in theaters, but as a cool collected baby.
So, Pat, what about you? I have a question after your answer, but I have a question about the end of this movie too.
I never, it never crossed my mind until I was like, what should we talk about? Oh, and I was like, oh, theaters. I haven't been to one in a while. Like, it never even crossed my mind. And it's not that the movie didn't need a theater. It didn't need a theater. It just, I think I've become very accustomed to not going to theaters right now. Just not going out in general, but yeah, going to the theater didn't even cross my mind.
So I'll say this. One of my favorite theater experiences is like sitting in the theater row after the lights are on, watching the credits roll, talking with my friends and drinking the last of my stale flat beer that I've taken too long to drink, and to get the sizzle in the extra scene at the end. Did you guys watch all the way through the credits? Did you guys see the extra scene at the very end?
But I did buy the movie, so I could just.
Okay, well. Pat, did you?
No, I didn't even know there was a scene at the end.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happened? Tell me. I'll watch it. I think we still
definitely watch it. I kind of just I kind of got up, went to my kitchen, which is one of the beauty of these whole things. Is I just standing in my kitchen, pouring myself yet another libation, and the credits roll. I was listening to the music. There's like a Weezer song at the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Weird fucking.
It's really good. And so I listened to the thing, and then like the end credits rolled, and it hit them, and it's again Geezer, old folks home, Bill and Ted, and they're like, you know what, we have one more thing we got to do, and they pick up their guitars respectively, and they rock, and it's 100% worth watching. So I would.
Oh, that's so cool! Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely have to, and I always stick around. That's one thing that's easier to do in theaters is to sit there until the end of the credits, like. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go, and I started thinking about Wasteland 3. Actually, I started thinking, what I'm gonna do with my characters.
I was thinking, how am I gonna get this baby to be quiet? And then Weezer was not helping.
I was like, how many more of these before bed?
and it worked best for you because you got to see the.
John Ray. So John Ray, I will say this: I thought this whilst watching the movie.
Ooh,
whilst that Logic would have been a much better choice than Kid Cudi for the modern day rapper and lyricist to be a part of the band. I would have loved Logic.
Oh, very interesting.
I think, but Chris D'Elia, whatever his name is, played Logic, so I think he's burnt for a little bit.
Oh shit! So it burned Logic too. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know. I don't know any of these people that you guys are talking about.
I think it has most to do with somebody taking a picture of their dick. So.
Oh, okay. Well, shit, that could have been me. So, Bill and Ted or Wayne and Garth? Who do you guys prefer?
You know what? Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say this because I remember seeing the 40th special for SNL, and I saw Mike Myers and Dana Carvey reprising the role. That felt nice. The sketch felt more forced than this movie. This movie was more natural. It had more fun. It was more lighthearted. I would say just because where we're at right now, I think Bill and Ted is. I think what I would choose.
What I really want is Ted and Garth. Ted and Garth, the movie. That would be great. But I would go Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted seem like nicer guys, man. I don't know. There's something sketchy about Wayne.
That's what it is. Bill and Ted seem like, because they're always just about like they want to do like just normal things, you know. They're just like kids. Like Wayne and Garth want to do like crude bass things, like the whole swing and all that stuff, and having a chubby and like. And it's I like Wayne and Garth. I like Wayne's World. I like Wayne's World 2. Like they're really funny movies, but to hang out with, I would rather hang out with Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted,
yeah.
So, what are your guys' final thoughts on Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Danny,
really fun, dumb. Are we going to do the rating thing that we do on the YouTube videos? Is this YouTube?
It is YouTube, but like that. I mean, it's already out. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is straight up. Yeah.
Well, I bought the movie, so $5 more. Fuck that. I did that. I know. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I just had fun. That's what I wanted to do. Like, that's all I wanted. I want to do hood rat shit with my friends, and I did.
What about you, Blake? What are your final thoughts on Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Worth every penny. It hit the spot. I would say that was a movie I needed in my life at this moment. It was fun. I laughed out loud. It might even bring a tear to your eye, depending on your proclivities to get emotional about a movie. But it is super fun, lighthearted. I think everybody could use a little bit more Bill and Ted in their life. So, okay.
It didn't bring a tear to my eye, but my eyes do get sweaty every once in a while. I think that, worth every penny is a great way to describe it. Worth the extra $5, Daddy? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I think that they could restart the franchise. I think they can continue it with new characters. Lighthearted, fun, dumb, genuinely laugh out loud funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like great characters. Like it's really good. It doesn't require much thought, but it's engaging, which is pretty hard to do. It lets you not think, but you still pay attention to it. Like the really good stuff. Like highest recommendation at all. It's 19. Great test actually. Like this is the first movie that I've actually gone out and rented at full price to replace the theater experience. So for me, it was the litmus, and I thought it was well worth the purchase.
I regret not spending the extra $5 to buy it outright.
Yeah, I feel that. See, this is the second movie that I buy now that is at full, I guess, $25. Yeah. Scooby-Doo or the Scooby-Doo movie, and then this one, and I feel like this is a better investment than Scooby-Doo.
I've never seen Scooby-Doo, but somehow I agree with you.
It's on HBO Max for free.
It's and it's got me thinking because on Friday I was already like, okay, I'm gonna see The Boys. Like it's coming out for sure. I'm gonna see The Boys, but after paying for Bill and Ted here, I'm like, well, Mulan's on Friday, and Bill and Ted was worth it. I think I might see Mulan and hold off on The Boys. I don't know. That's the Friday schedule. So every week you can catch us. If you're listening to the podcast, you can catch us every week. Once a month, we're live on YouTube. But if you don't want to see us live because we're kind of annoying, you can see Adventures in Movies Quick and Dirty, where we get our favorite clip from the show. Also, every week we look at a smaller movie. It can be a documentary. It can be about butts. It might be about the drug war in the Philippines. It can be about a number of things. But check it out. It's Adventures in Movies looks at ... where we look at the weirdest shit out there and some of the best shit that's out there too. But check it out. You can also go to the site. You can also
while you're
trying to check out our reviews.
While you're doing that, checking out those reviews and interrupting Pat, you can follow Adventure in Movies over at AAPT Movies, or you can follow us individually. You can find Nathaniel or Annual here on the script over on Instagram at Nathan Pork Taste. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram over at default_player, and you could find 5 years in the future Blake at 4
Oh, really? I'm back from the future. Now I have British accent. Next week, adaptations of books, comics. Who knows? Maybe the film adaptation. I don't know. Lots of adaptations of things. Please tune in to that. It's going to be good.
It will be good, and you could check us out on Spotify. You can go to iTunes. You can go to the website. We're even on YouTube. We're everywhere, except maybe not Stitcher. I'm really not sure, but wherever you listen to us, just tell a friend, give us a like, and subscribe, as Danny would say, and rate us. And I'm sorry, Danny, for taking your line, but that's our cue. We'll talk to you next week.
I am Dennis.
Adios, everybody.